Hey everyone, my name is Rick Gualtieri, and this is Tales from a Midlist author. And first off, let me apologize because it's been a way too long since I've recorded one of these. Um, yes, I'm still alive. Um, God, it's probably been a good year. And part of the reason why is, in a sense, I kind of ran out of things to talk about. But mostly because I've been busy with my own business, and it's been a hell of a year. So that's actually kind of what I wanted to talk about in this installment. Something that I did this year, which is going full time. It's been a huge year for me. I probably made double what I made the year before. Actually, I think more than that. Um, I've been keeping up with my quarterly taxes and all of that. So judging by that, I still have to do the fourth quarter, but safe bet to say it's been a kick-ass year. So about about 3 months ago, I went full time. And so I wanted to discuss that kind of like the before and after of that. So this is a bit more advanced than some of the beginner stuff, but uh, but the hope is that maybe some of you are getting close, or eventually some of you will get close. Um, kind of following those footsteps. First of all, before we start, in case you're wondering, my time having gone full-time writer has not resulted in me becoming a crazed hoarder. You can probably see by by the boxes and crap behind me. It's Christmas time, and my office winds up being the default area where we store all the unwrapped gifts. So just in case anybody comes snooping. So as a result, for between November and December, it either looks like I'm moving, or it looks like or once again it looks like I belong on a show on TLC or so. So this will be cleaned out in a couple weeks, hopefully. So going full time, it's not. It's kind of it's awesome, but it's also terrifying. But hopefully this video can help make it a little less terrifying for you. Because the main thing is you don't want to jump the gun too early. Now, this video kind of assumes that you're the sole breadwinner in the house. Circumstances change if you have a spouse who's the primary breadwinner, or if you have a spouse who works and contributes to health insurance and such. So take what I'm saying with that regards, because I know there's plenty of cases where somebody's a stay-at-home mom or dad, and and they're doing this, so technically they are kind of a full-time writer. um, Nothing wrong with that, mind you. In fact, that's actually a lot safer way of doing it. um, but the assumption here is that okay, if you're planning on going full-time and you are primarily the person who's going to be supporting the household, so the main thing there is prep. You don't want to jump the gun. You don't want to have that first big month where you say, hey, I made more than my paycheck, I'm going full time. That's a stupid idea. You want to make sure you have sustainable sales. You want to make sure you have enough books for sustainable sales. You want to make sure you have a roadmap going forward, so you're going to keep churning out books. Um, that's kind of that first step. Um, Mentally, that first step. Physically, the first step is start saving, start hoarding that money. Obviously, you still want to be paying your taxes. You don't want to be like, hey, screw Uncle Sam, I'll just keep the money for myself so I can go full time. IRS will not be happy with you if you do that. So, set aside that 30%, that 25, 30% for the government. Um, you know, Whatever you need to help with your living expenses, that's fine, but sock the rest away. Ideally, the advice you're going to hear is you want to have a year's savings. That's the smartest way of doing it. It's also kind of difficult. You know, we all live in different areas of the country or countries, different standards of living, and that year's salary can differ vastly. For some people it might be like hey, $10,000 or $15,000. For others it might be $150,000. So there can be vast differences in that. Um, Minimally, though, you probably don't want to go live. Probably don't want to do it with less than 6 months. I understand the concept of jumping guns. Sometimes it is too like hard to resist, and sometimes you're in a day job that you just fucking hate. Let's not dismiss that. If you have some place that is mentally killing you, you kind of have to think about, okay, what makes the most sense for getting out of there. But you don't want to ever leave and just with the coffers bare. You don't want to just say, okay, screw it, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna go for it. um, Now, that said, main thing is savings and insurance. That's the other big thing. Um, you want to have that covered. Um, I will say this. I mean, you have Obamacare out there, which is awesome. But depending on how much you're making as an author, you might get a discount, or you might just wind up paying $3,000 or $4,000 a month because hey, if you're making too much, you get no discount. On the other hand, that's probably not the worst place in the world to be. Yeah, mind you, paying out for health insurance enough for more than a mortgage payment each month does kind of suck. Almost kind of makes you think, maybe I should make this worth it and go jump in front of a bus. Don't do that. But it is what it is. You want the health insurance and you want the savings and such. Um, you want to plan it smartly. In my case, I got lucky. I was planning on going full time this year. I was planning on going full time much earlier in the year, and then I started hearing talk of layoffs. This is important because there's a vast difference between between quitting, getting fired, and being laid off. Getting outright fired for a gross negligence, so that's bad. You pretty much get nothing. Same thing with quitting. You walk away, and I do think I do believe you do get COBRA coverage, but that's pretty much about it. Once again, excuse me if I'm wrong there. What cat? It's like kids or cats. You want one thing or the other, demanding attention here. But in my case, I heard that layoffs were coming. I was like, oh, let me bide my time, because layoffs are awesome for one thing. If you're not ready for a layoff, they suck. I'm not gonna say they're always awesome, but if you're planning on going full time and you can kind of get that area where they're looking to downsize, that works out perfectly, because a layoff typically equals severance, especially if you're in a larger organization, you're working in corporate America there, and severance is a nice little safety net. So one thing that was tempting for me to say was, hey, I'm making enough here, screw you, I don't need your money. But screw pride. Always go with with quote unquote the free money if you can get it. So in my case, I stuck around for a couple extra months. I got 4 months of severance, which was awesome. I got full benefits and all of that. And going into next year, I get COBRA coverage, which winds up being about half the price I would pay otherwise for health insurance. So I'm at least covered for a year. So I kind of have that, it's kind of one of those, okay, year's worth of savings, income coming in, so I'm not really depleting anything at the moment, and covered for the next year. So I pretty much have a year to make this work. Not bad. So that is the main thing beforehand. Make sure your bases are covered. You want to make sure your finances are covered. You want to make sure your taxes and all of that, and you want to make sure you have insurance. Those are kind of the big things. If you can afford it, talk to a CPA, talk to an accountant. For taxes and all that stuff, because they can probably save you a lot of money. But make sure those bases are covered first, and then comes the after. The after, I would say, planning to hit the ground running. That is the pie in the sky. Not always possible. I know I had about a week there where I had to do a whole bunch of stuff there. I got almost no writing or editing done. It happens. No big deal. But make sure that you kind of know where you're going, and that means discipline. Now the hope is you've been doing this while working, or or your spouse is working or stuff. But the hope is, if you're watching this series, you have been writing, so you have that discipline to sit down in your chair, crank out words, do the editing, do all the stuff you need to do. You need to keep it up now, and that's most important. Treat it like a day job. You're not doing this part-time anymore. You're not sitting there 2 hours after dinner and cranking out some words. You were sitting there putting in your full 8 hours. Hell, you're probably putting in 10, 12, maybe more hours a day, because everything you do from here on in is supporting that business. Don't go insane. Don't be some people go completely workaholic. I tend to do that a little bit, where it's like, hey, I'm on every day, and if I don't do my stuff, I'm freaking out. You still have to make time for family, friends. You do have to get out there and socialize, and you don't want to become like a crazed hermit, but you want the discipline to do what you're doing. Ideally, before you go full time, you should have a roadmap, a business plan, whatnot, planned out for what you're going to be doing, so that you're not hitting the ground and and going, okay, now what? In my case, some people might say it's a bit of a stupid time, because I'm getting ready to release the very last of my series, the series which is like my main source of income. And if that were the last book I was ever planning on writing, Yes, that would probably be stupid of me to to not be sending out resumes like crazy right now, but it's not. I have tons of projects in the works. I've gotten while I haven't had any real releases other than short stories and anthologies and stuff since I went full time. Um, the one book I'm working on is longer than it is. I have been producing a lot. I mean, we're talking since I've gone live. I mean, we're talking well over 100,000 words produced. Lots of editing done, lots of marketing done. So I'm keeping myself busy and I'm continually moving forward. I'm trying not to take too many days off, albeit, the flexibility. The one upside is using the flexibility of working full time so that, if somebody says, "Hey, want to go to the store, want to go to breakfast or so," you know, there there is that flexibility that you don't have in an office. So those are my main things for that. I'll cut this short. But if you ever reach the point of going full time, it is an awesome area, but you don't want to jump the gun too early. You want to make sure you are ready, because the thing is, you don't want to go full time and then like 2 or 3 months later realize it's a mistake. You want to be able to give this business, I'd say, a good year to germinate. If it works, great. Hopefully you're on easy street. If it doesn't, um, well, keep your resume updated, and at least you'll know you tried. Hopefully I'll be sitting here in a year, well, with a much bigger office that's not full of stuff. We'll see about that. But hopefully I'll at least be sitting here, um, you know, doing continuing to do this, and I guess we'll see on that. My hope going forward is to start recording more of these again. The game has changed over the last year that I've recorded these. So there's new information. I've been doing a lot of online paid marketing, and I do want to share some tidbits on that, as well as just some bad behavior I've seen out there. More cautionary tales of things to avoid. Um, and the only thing I could say is I hope to see a lot more of you in 2017. This is Tales of a Midlist Author. My name is Rick Gualtieri, and I hope to talk to you soon. But if I don't before then, have a happy holidays. And if you're one of those people who gets offended because, oh, you said happy holidays instead of Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah or whatever it is, get a fucking life. you know, if that's the worst thing you have to worry about, especially in this world, then count yourself blessed. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.